What's up, Soul Nation? Ginger Prime here, and having really fallen in love with TemTem and being really surprised by this game and its early access, I thought I'd put together a little 101 beginner's guide for this game, hopefully help answer any of the questions that I know that I have, and then maybe that you have. But if you have any questions or anything that is particularly, I guess, troubling, or that's not making sense with this game, sound off in the comments below. I really want to get as many people into this game. Now, it is currently in early access, and if you all are interested, over on Work to Game, I posted my first impressions and a slight rant about this game and Pokemon, if you're so inclined to check it out. But that's not what this is about. This is hopefully about diving in and answering your questions. A lot is coming soon, and this guide is as of patch early access 0.5.5. So as they update the game, as things change, we will be continuing to update you all with the information so you can hopefully have the best trainer experience and hopefully the best game experience. But anyway, without further ado, I want to dive into some frequently asked questions and kind of go from there. So the best place to start, I think, this guide is with the 3 starters. That's going to be your first choice when entering in the game. Now, I picked Holchick and named them Mindbender in this case, and you can see their card up here. I'm going to talk about what SVs and TVs are here in just a minute, and also all the types as well as their weaknesses. So we're going to dive more into that just here in a second. Also include a link to the TemTem GG website. It's got a lot of really good information if you want to take your time and read it for yourself. So Holchick is a mental type. This is like psychic if you're thinking of that mindset. So Holchick could have 2 different stats here, 2 different traits. Mental Alliance, this is going to increase your special attack by 15% if an ally is mental or soft touch when attacking, and a sleep status, the condition target won't wake up. You can see on the website you also have variations. These are Lumas. These are your quote-unquote shinies. And in fact, all starters can actually be captured elsewhere. And you'll find that you can have the opportunity to capture Holchick in Artberry. And they're going to be adding this to kind of the in-game map so you can kind of track these different TemTem down. So just anyway, on the site, it is very rare. They're also a very rare TemTem that you can go and catch. But as far as the 3 starters, you'll start with 1, and you can still have the ability to go catch all 3. Now, focusing in on Crystal here, obviously Crystal is the type, and that is essentially, I was thinking grass type because you would think green. In this case, they're going to have a Crystal type. There is a nature type, and they are not of this. They have 2 different traits here, Amphibian or Rested. Amphibian is when attacked with a water technique. This is going to increase your speed, and then Rested is when increases your attack and special attack by 25% during the first 2 turns the TemTem is on the battlefield. And then you can find and catch this Crystal here in the mines at Midtglen, etc. So just pay attention to that, and we'll dive into our last choice, which is Smazy. Smazy is a melee thinking fighting type, TemTem with the options for Fever Rush when getting a status condition increasing attack by 1, or Friendship, immune to the allies' offensive techniques, and you can find them in Artberry as well, and they are very rare. So let's go and talk about our SVs and our TVs real quick before we dive into our types. So SVs are single values. These are randomly rolled between 1 and 30. And you can see that good SVs are going to show up kind of in a green status. So if I pick on a different TemTem here like Bolt, you can see I've got 2 green statuses of 44 and 46. So again, these SVs are randomly rolled. And essentially what this is going to do, this is, you can actually increase these through items, and you can also have these inherently SVs through breeding to help min-max, obviously, yourself through the process. Now, TVs, or training values, these are going to be a pool of stat points that contribute to any of your TemTem stats. Now, TemTem are going to gain TVs by consuming fruit items or defeating wild TemTem. Now, each can grant a different TV amounts on defeat. So these are going to be obviously listed on their individual pages over on the temtem.gg website. Now, a TemTem may have a total of 1,000 accrued TVs, but with a maximum and only in one category of up to 500. And you can use certain items to reduce or remove TVs so they can be allocated elsewhere. Now, as far as getting Luma TemTem that we kind of talked about a little bit earlier, it's going to be estimated the odds are about 1 in 6,000. So if you really want to hunt for that, you're going to have to really work for a long time in their spawn area. So be prepared for a long grind to be able to get your Luma TemTem. So once you actually start getting Lumas, breeding them significantly also improves the odds that their children will also be Luma TemTem. So let's go and bring up our type chart here. We've got Crystal, which we talked about as one of the starters with Crystal. Then you have Digital, which currently is not available at time of patch 0.5.5, but you do encounter one, obviously, at the beginning of the game. I'm not going to ruin it for you, but you have that as an option. Then you'll see Earth types, Electric types, Fire types, Melee types, Mental types, Nature types, Neutral types, Toxic types, Water types, and Wind types. And you can see here, obviously, Crystal versus Crystal, you're going to be at a 0.5 reduction. Crystal versus Digital, it's going to be 1. Earth, 0.5. Lightning and Mental here are, as a Crystal, you're going to get a 2 times bonus. Everything else is times 1, and a reduction on Earth and then Crystal itself. Same thing kind of applies. So again, I'm going to keep this chart up here, talk about it a little bit, but also include the link again in the description below so you can kind of get an idea of what is going to work better for your type versus other types. So try to commit this to memory. It's going to help you overall to have that memorization. Now, one of the cool things the game does is as you engage in battles with types that you have acquired, you can see by the color of the ring around the target whether you're going to be more effective or least effective. It is important to note that as just a starting out, the game is really well balanced in terms of you have to build up to some of your bigger attacks. So you can see here for Mindbender, I can't use Hypnosis, Psywave, or Technic Shrapnel until I've built up enough attack. Then also each attack is going to reduce my stamina. Once your stamina is low enough, you can hurt yourself and you're going to have to switch out your TemTem, which is a nice balancing technique. So now if I use the ability Psywave or Telekinesis, you can see here that this is going to be really effective against these targets because it's wrapped in green. So there you get the ×2 multiplier, which is always very satisfying. So the starting area, the starting island for TemTem is rather large, and essentially you're going to be pushing yourself forward north. You're going to find some places you can't reach until you have a surfboard or climbing equipment. You're going to get the surfboard after you defeat the first dojo, but it's not easy to get to the first dojo, and even when you do, there's still going to be a quest that you need to go to into the caves, and I'm not going to ruin it for you. But once you do actually complete the first dojo and get the surfboard, you're going to want to return back to where the certain thing happened. I'm not going to ruin it. Go back there because you can now use your surfboard to get to a location you couldn't before, and that's actually going to reward you with this item called the Cowards Cloak. So there isn't a XP share in the game natively. However, the Cowards Cloak is going to give you the ability to XP feed another person in your group who is not actively engaged in battle. So you're going to want this, especially as you're grinding and as you catch TemTem that might be lower level and you don't want to necessarily toss them in battle. Now, TemTem battles are 2-player battles, which you can team up with a friend, a real life friend, and play together, and it can end up, it's actually a lot of fun. I was kind of surprised by how well it worked in that regards, but you also have the ability for TemTem to team up and feed off of each other's abilities, especially their passive traits. So keep that in mind when it comes down to it. You also can easily restore lost techniques. Whenever you learn you've got 4 techniques available, you can see other techniques that they have learned in the past and be able to swap them in and out in case you accidentally make a mistake. So don't be so concerned when starting out this game worrying about min-maxing right away, because there's ways that you can go about really enjoying and diving into it. And finally, to serve kind of as a send-off to this introduction, money is going to be tight. The game isn't necessarily feeding you tons of money, and we're going to probably put some money-making guides up here on the channel, so be sure to subscribe and hit that like button if that's something that interests you. But beyond that, let's say if we just go to the shop, just here as a pro tip, you can go and you can buy like bombs, you can buy ethers, and you can see how much money they cost. But you can see I've racked up a little bit of money here, but you know that's going to go fast if I start buying bombs and ethers and revives and more. Money's going to be scarce. You're going to probably want to save it for breeding as best as possible. So what's probably the best investment to buy? Smoke bombs. Smoke bombs are going to return you to your previous last safe space visited, which is going to allow you to heal up. You can heal up for free. So if you think of it like it just at the cost of a bomb itself at 80, for a little bit more, you can actually heal up your entire squad. You're going to be traveling that. You're going to try to take advantage of every free heal available. That's going to make it so much more easy for you. So just keep that in mind. Pay attention to that and don't overcommit. You want to make sure you're maximizing your time and your EXP gains. Because right now with like around 80 TemTem and even more on the way, there's a lot that this game's going to offer, and it's going to be best that you don't blow all the money that you have right away. Especially because, like I said, it's not feeding you like other games in this monster collection battle system that happens to be online. It is kind of conservative. So there's definitely ways to make money, and we'll be sure to dive into that in future videos. But I'm going to hopefully that's really going to help you get an ease into the game. And if it doesn't, let me know what questions you have so we can try to get together a good frequently asked questions and get you guys the answers, because this game is totally worth checking out. And the fact that it looks like it might have a really bright future, I hope you do. And if you do, I hope you have a great time. Anyway, like I said, ask me your questions. Let me know in the comments below. My name is Brian. This is Ginger Prime. Thanks so much for watching the video. Hope you have an amazing day. I'll see you soon. Take care.